Do not be led by a blind man. Too often the religious structures, which had the ultimate purpose of helping each person to return to the original home of my heart and love, have failed to do so because they did not know themselves. So many blind religious guides have led you in their path instead of mine. They have held you back, by force, with judgments for their own salvation, exaltation and purposes. Sincerely at first, they wanted to help you, but in the end they focused on themselves and their families and did not know how to go beyond their myopic spiritual vision centered only on themselves. This has been the way that so many religions have lived throughout the millennia. Today you live in a historical time when all religious structures must cease. Cease their function and let my children return to their original home, to me freely. It is time for you to knock on the door and for me to open it, to meet me personally. Blind religious leaders eventually try to hold back my children, saying, I am your original home, come with me, I will take you to heaven, to the kingdom of heaven. But in your original nature you feel that your parents and guides are only God and you only want to return to me. I am not only talking about individual blind guides, but also about religious organizations, which eventually become slaves to their leaders, their organization, doctrines, traditions, offerings, conditions, economics. And they keep deluding you that you can't leave them now, that if you do you will never be happy, they say, isn't what I give you enough? I have a good way of life as a doctrine for you. But your home is in your heart that is connected to me. It was so originally in my ideal of creation, before the fall of Adam and Eve, and it must become so again. Your home, life is yours and it is in the perfect union between you and me that we become a perfect unity, one body. But your home is in your heart that is connected to me. It was so originally in my ideal of creation, before the fall of Adam and Eve, and it must become so again. Your home, life is yours and it is in the perfect union between you and me that we become a perfect unity, one body. Any guide who takes you away from here takes you out of this house of my heart is a blind guide. Religious ceremonies and rituals are now past, they have been rightly handed down through the generations, but they have always been a thing out of my ideal and my original world. I am grateful to the religions and spiritual historical people who brought a vision of me and guided you to my light, from a life in darkness in which you lived, to the light removed so many rocks in your way. Without a religious vision as a guide in history, the world would still be today, a dark, dreary, horrible place. But even the right spiritual guidance, the best guidance can then still lead you away from me. Today is the time for the kingdom of my ideal to return to the original point, and each of you has the key in your divine being, to enter the palace of my heart, in my ideal. My kingdom is in the individual and family relationship with my children, and it is only in a relationship between you and me.